We have a new president in Argentina and there is a lot of expectation. A large group of right-wing leaders came to Buenos Aires for Javier Milei's ceremony, and we have the opportunity to talk with the political director of Hungary, Balázs Orbán. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me and the opportunity.
There was a long time ago that Prime Minister Viktor Orbán didn't come to Argentina. Which are the expectations of Hungary with the new Argentinian government?
First of all, we are very happy that we've been invited. It's always a pleasure to be here to visit your wonderful country and to be part of the inauguration ceremony. Our expectation is that it's going to be a huge ceremony and a very nice one. And we hope that it could be a beginning of a beautiful friendship, as it is said. And we see the opportunity of conservative right-wing leaders and forces working more and more together. Although our countries are far away from each other, there is a growing need of working closely together. The left is doing this, very successful on that. And it's a huge challenge for all of our countries. So this is the reason why we took the invitation seriously and came here, and we hope that we will have a chance to meet with the new Argentinian leadership and of the conservative leaders of South America.
After 2.5 years of the Russian-Ukraine war, how is doing Hungary economically?
Well, we survived. As we were saying it from the very first moment, this is a war which can only have negative effects on Hungary and on Europe. It's obvious what happened. Russia attacked Ukraine, which is morally and from an international legal standpoint, it's not acceptable. But the continuation of the war is a big challenge for Europe. We are, since the very first moment, we Hungarians are advocating for first ceasefire, then peace talks, and then a long-term peace agreement. Many people died. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on both sides, and millions and millions of people left the country, left Ukraine. Financially, now Ukraine is 100% dependent on Western aid, so the situation is very, very, very bad. And since the war started, energy prices were skyrocketing in Europe. Some major European economies went into recession. The inflation rate is high. So this war is something which is not good for Europe and not good for Hungary. So Hungarian economy survived. We had our difficulties. Now we are back on the good track. The inflation went down, energy prices were normalized, and now we have again GDP growth. But we paid our price. So we still think that the world and the Western world should change its mind and not fueling further confrontation, but find a way, a path for peaceful solutions.
There is a new left-wing government in Poland. Could this put Hungary in a weaker situation in front of the European Union?
Well, the Hungarian foreign policy is as extensive as it has never been. So we entered in a global era where we have very good connections with and strong strategic partnership with many important countries from all over the world. Obviously, very important allies we have inside the European Union, where we work together with them. Poland is historically probably one of the closest ally of Hungary. The two nations, they treat each other as brothers, so it has also an emotional element of the cooperation, not only rational. And it's true that these were the Hungarian and the Polish were the two major conservative governments inside the European Union, which was very heavily tackled and attacked by the Brusselian liberal bureaucrats, and we had each other's shoulders. We were backing each other. Now there is another government. Obviously, for them there will be other priorities, but I think that the Hungarian-Polish cooperation has a very deep geopolitical and emotional basis. So we hope that we can save at least something. And obviously, the entire European landscape is changing now. In Italy, we have right-wing conservative coalitional government. There is a new government in Slovakia, which is coming mainly from the leftist circles, but they are more sovereigntist than the previous government. There were elections in the Netherlands. Yes, with an old friend of us. Mr. Wilders has a Hungarian wife, so they know Hungary very well. They spend their holiday periods very often in our country. So with friends, now we have with President Macron, all obviously in ideological fronts, we are not on the same side, but we see the future of Europe in I would say a quite similar way. So there is an opportunity always to cooperate with them in a practical basis. So I would say that it's a complicated internal European cooperation structure. Obviously, we were very happy that we had our Polish strong and tough conservative friends on our side, but this is the case. We try to have them, we cooperate with them together, but we are looking for strengthening bilateral relations with other partners.
Talking about this growth of right-wing leaders in Europe, next year there will be 2024, there will be the European elections. Do you think this could be an opportunity for conservatives to take power?
Well, I think so. I hope so. Now the problem is that inside the European Parliament is that the conservative right-wing forces are minorities. They have strong fractions, but divided into smaller pieces and overtaken by the liberal, leftist, green, whatever we call it, majority. And the center right has more willingness to cooperate with the left than with the right. So this is the structure, how the European Parliament looks like. And this is a structure which is not good for Europe and not good for the conservative parties. So what we have to, where we have to cooperate closely is to have a good election result where we have stronger presence inside the European Parliament. And then after the numbers are coming out, we have to figure out how we can be more united and can have a more strong voice inside this European decision making. And it's crucial because it's not only about the Parliament. The political environment inside the European Parliament, it has an effect on the behavior of the Commission, European Commission, who should be originally, according to the European treaties, a neutral, fair, balanced, bureaucratic institution, which is not taking part into political debates, but rather working as a catalyzing force for European integration. The problem, and this is the major problem, that now the current Commission is acting as a political agent. So as an agent of the European Parliament left liberal leaders and the majority of the Parliament, and they are misusing their power and they try to push an agenda which is going against the sovereignty of the member states. It's pushing open doors policies, it's pushing all the ideologies of George Soros and his NGOs, and it's a very strong gender ideologically driven legislation, which is also catalyzed by the Commission. So this is the real problem, and if we are able to formulate a new Commission and the reshuffled European Parliament, then probably let's hope that we will have a chance to get back on the track, and everybody is doing his job. So European integration is dominated by member states government, the European Commission is acting in a fair and normal and neutral way, and then inside the European Parliament the two sides are fighting against each other, but not trying to kill each other politically, but trying to find a modus vivendi how to live together. So this would be the most optimistic outcome after the elections. Let's hope that we will be able to reach that.
The left wing thinks that immigration is the solution because European population is decreasing, but Hungary doesn't think the same.
Yes, indeed. We think that it's a very risky illusion. Demographic decline is a problem. We have to find a solution, because if you have smaller population, you're losing your power in the international arena as well. So we need more people, but we need people of our own. So from the same civilizational background. So this is why we say that to tackle our demographic problems, we should have a robust family policy, which is about supporting traditional families, like people who are married, one man and one woman. They are married. They have their willingness to have more children. So why the state and why the governments are acting against this? It's a natural phenomenon which is good for the society, and we should support those people who are committed to formulate a family and to expand the family in that field. So the Hungarian way is about saying no to migration, and especially have a zero tolerance towards illegal migration, where you don't have your control, and say yes to an increased family support program, which is about, if you want to get married, if you want to have more children, then the state is on your side and try to help you in any means. Unfortunately, in Brussels and the liberal world, this is completely different. They just trying to opening up our borders, invite everybody. The more people coming, is the better for Europe, and they give them status immediately, first refugee status and then citizenship, because this is how they want to deal with their own problems. But what we see now, if you follow the news from Europe, that these are parallel societies, parallel civilizations. So integration is not happening, and in the long term it will cause serious problems and a very obvious decay of European civilization if we continue it that way. We Hungarians are not saying that we are the ones who are on the right side. We don't want to convince France and Germany and Sweden and the most liberal immigration policy backed countries that they should follow the Hungarian model because it's their decision. But what we want is that they should not try to force us to follow their path, because we think that their pattern is too risky. We don't want to take this risk that we let hundreds and hundreds of thousands from different civilization in, and then in 10 years time or 20 years time, or after 2 years of terror, two generations, we will end up in a parallel society where the social tension is there, public safety is declining, the possibility of terrorism is rising, and we don't want to go to that direction. So we don't want to convince them, but they shouldn't try to force us to follow their path. So this is the fight which is going on inside Europe.
You have mentioned previously Italy. Does Hungary see the Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni as a strong leader in Europe?
Of course, she's a very talented, very strong leader. We know her and her party for a very long time. Fidesz, the Hungarian governing party, and Fratelli Italia started cooperating way before she became prime minister. When they had 3% in the polls, Fidesz was there to supporting them, because we seen them as a potential leaders of Italy, and we need Italy. We need a strong Italy inside Europe. Without a strong Italy, the power equilibrium inside the European Union is not settled. So we are very happy to have Meloni government at the table. We try to work them very closely on the family policy issues, on the migration issue, and we feel that in general the future of Europe is not about creating a super state, an empire which is managed by Brussels, but it's the future of Europe lies on the cooperation between the member states. So nation state is not part of the problem, but it's still part of the solution, and European Union's future should be based on the cooperation of nation states. So we work very closely with them. Their job is not easy because they have euro. They are financially very dependent on Brussels, so they have to find their compromise to survive always. But we wish them good luck for that.
Why the Brussels agenda is so far away from the real needs of the European population?
I think it's because of the democratic deficit and because of the structure. So we have a bureaucracy. We're talking about tens and tens of thousands of people. They are not elected at all. In the European Parliament, MPs are elected, but in a completely different structure as they are elected in their homeland. So it's like it's very easy to be influenced by leftist crazy ideas from outside, and the democratic control of the people is not effective. This is the problem of the Brussels bureaucracy. We have a leadership. We have a bureaucratic elite who is completely brainwashed by Sao Paulo Forum ideologies, if I may use the South American term on that, and they think that their role is not to serve the interests of the European people, but to push this agenda from top to down. And there are some member states, and there are some political forces, and there are obviously the majority of the Europeans who are trying to resist. Because if you look on the public opinion polls, we also have our public opinion polls, not only in Hungary, but we collect data from every European member state. And it's obvious that the majority of the Europeans, they don't want to give up their sovereignty. They don't want to have mass migration. They want to have closed borders. They don't like the woke ideology. Yeah. Yes, they don't want to have wars. They even don't want to fight the war. They want peace. They want respectful, peaceful cooperation with every part of the world. So they don't want to choose between United States and China and the rest of the world. They want to cooperate equally with everybody based on the interest of Europeans. So it's like this is how the majority of the Europeans think about the future of Europe, but the pressure from top is very high, and it's not just about elected politicians or not just about leaders of the bureaucracy. It's about media, it's about NGO network, it's about lobbying groups, so an entire universe.
Some people desacralize the image of Christ or the Virgin in the name of art. Do you think Christianity is under attack?
Yes, I think so. It's under attack outside the Western Hemisphere as well. Many Christians, Christianity is the most persecuted religion outside the Western Hemisphere. So we Hungarians, we initiated a program. It's called Hungary Helps program, and we try to support these Christian communities who are in need all over the world. This is one part, and the other part is that I think Christianity is under attack also inside the Western Hemisphere, and it's mainly because of rising intolerant wave or trend of liberalism or neoliberalism or progressive ideology, whatever you want to call it, which is about that to have a successful future society, you have to deconstruct everything which is belonging to the past. And obviously, love of your country, love of God, love of your family, traditional values, they are belonging to traditions and belonging to the past. So it's these are under attack, and the goal is to deconstruct everything and build up something new. No one knows what this new thing should be. We Hungarians are very interesting in this regard, because if you ask the people, you try to make polls and how many percentage of the Hungarians are active churchgoers, it's a very, very low number compared to Poland or even compared to the United States. We're talking about 15-20%. But if you ask the people whether they are willing to fight to preserve the Christian culture, which is all around us, it's about how we communicate each other, what moral standards we accept, how we live our life, how we talk to the others, then 80% or 90% is on our side. So 80-90% of the society thinks that Christian culture as such should be defended and preserved for the future. And if you want to build a successful future, and if we want to build successful cooperation with other countries coming from the Western Hemisphere, this is the basis on which we can talk to each other. So we Hungarians and Argentinians, the cultural common ground for us is Christianity. If we kick out Christianity, then how we can find the common ground? We have nothing, because we are far away from each other. We speak a different language. We have different cultural experiences. Everything which connects us is based on Christianity, and this kind of Christian culture should be the social glue between Western countries, Christian countries, social glue on which they can cooperate.
Some people talk about a cultural battle and others about a spiritual war. What do you think about it?
The cultural battle is obviously there. We see it on a daily basis. It's a bloody cultural war. Also in Europe, not just in South America, we follow, and not just in North America. We are following what's happening here and there very closely. But the same things are happening in Europe. This is a clear sign that we are connected. And obviously it has a spiritual element, as we discussed it. So it's about the future of Western civilization. Some people think that if we want to be successful, we have to transform everything what we have, because with this we are not going to be successful. We are going to lose competition against others. So we have to construct a new society, a new economy, a new cultural platform. And there are others, I think we belong to this camp, there are others who are saying that, look, there were successful periods of history of the West, and when we were successful, then it was because of our heritage and our values and our background. So it's like Christianity, the idea of nation states, family, as we were discussed, religious beliefs and economic freedom. These are not the obstacles. This is not part of the problem. This is part of the solution. And we are in decline because we're trying to get rid of all these values, principles, or way of living. And this is exactly why we are going down. So what we should done is to reverse it, to protect it, to build on it, to strengthen it, and then we will be back on track.
Mr. Orbán, we thank you so much for this opportunity, and we invite you to close this interview.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. It's a wonderful, wonderful country, and let's hope it's a new start for everybody. Thank you.
God bless Argentina and Hungary.
Thank you.